Good afternoon. Yours truly, Dolphy Alexander Gilpin, is here with you today at 1524 La Vista Drive, Decatur, Georgia, on the second floor, United States of America. And I'm here once again with our CME, Chemical Medical Education, and the word chemical here is highlighted because we have introduced a new friend, which was an old friend, but at times it became dormant. And this new friend is the periodic table. Now, we reintroduced our periodic table by a process called the magnetization process of the AMZ5x12 matrix, which is amazing 5x12 matrix, and the abundance of oxygen. That was how we got onto this periodic table, by the magnetization property of our AMZ5x12 matrix. Now, our AMZ5x12 matrix is being used as a nucleus matrix. In other words, like a nucleus of a cell, we have higher properties and characteristics and components and lower. If we go lower, we could have from the nucleus, we could have atoms and electrons and protons and neutrons. And likewise, analogously, from this 5x12 matrix, we have a lower matrix, 4x4, 3x3s, 2x2s, and even 1 by, say, n, where n is some number, 2 by n's, 3 by n's, 4 by n's. And likewise, some higher matrix, as we expand stochastically into some higher matrix, of which now the periodic table is one such. And the periodic table can be classified as a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, as a 9x18 matrix, with some of the rows and columns being, some of the boxes rather being made blank, or null, or void. In the periodic table, we call rows period and columns as a group. So that, take for example, if we choose vanadium V, this would be in group 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and period 1, 2, 3, 4. Group 5 and period 4. If we choose oxygen, this would be in group 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, and in period 1, 2. That's an example of our periodic table in which the columns and rows are substituted by groups and periods. So we will be using groups and periods for our periodic table. All right, our first thing now, we are moving into some ophthalmic education. And Visine was first come upon in the 1990 to 1996 specialization medical research by yours truly. We had Visine there. And Visine was a moderate drug. This was over the counter at the time. It is still over the counter today. Visine brand, which is chemically tetrahydrozoline. Some other people have some other pronunciation for it. I just pronounce it as the word. It's tetrahydro. Tetra means 4, hydro, water, and zoline. Just breaking it down. I have abbreviated THZ just for this particular presentation from the AMZ 5x12 IPCA configuration, in which we could have 8 digits after we're not making our prescription, or when we're making our research as to the amount of THZ or tetrahydrozoline we should use. It's a vasoconstrictor, redness and dryness reliever. It works by narrowing the swollen blood vessels in the eyes to reduce eye redness and to relieve itchy, red, dry, and burning and watery eyes. Tetrahydrozoline, Visine, the brand name. And here we have the chemical structure, the structural sort of thing here, in which we have some pentagon structure here and two hexagon structure, benzene type ring structure, with double bonds, double bonds, double bond, nitrogen and hydrogen and nitrogen on this side. Hydrogen and nitrogen on this double bond side. This is the basic, most simplest form of the chemical structure of the Visine tetrahydrozoline. Okay, we will just, for the moment, come back to hydrocortisone, but let's just turn over to another ophthalmic drugs or research pharmacochemical. As we turn over here, we come to now, this one is predominantly by prescription. The Visine could have been used for over the counter to remove redness, itchy, watery, burning, red erythema, or that means redness, and inflammatory redness. And so that was, like I said, Visine brand name was over the counter. Now we have pilocarpine, and pilocarpine, this is the basic structure of pilocarpine, a pentagon here and a pentagon shape with double bonds there, nitrogen there, and a double bond oxygen here and oxygen there. The two pentagons there with the nitrogen and the nitrogen there. And as we move over here now, we see a more intricate or more complicated form of the pilocarpine. Once again, this was pilocarpine hydrochloride, which is HCl ions there, the chloride ions there on the outside, and we have the two pentagons over here, and basically we have two ethyl C2H5, C2H2 sort of ethyl sort of a group there, hydrogen, double bond, oxygen, nitrogen and nitrogen there, single bond, and nitrogen and H3Z there, and that. So that is a more intricate with pilocarpine hydrochloride. And also over here we have pilocarpine nitride. All three are basically prescription, and it's in a group called a meiotics group. Meiosis means contraction of the pupil, and meiotics means a drug or a pharmacochemical that can cause constriction, or in other words, constriction, that means a reduction in the size of the pupil. So we have pilocarpine hydrochloride, pilocarpine hydronitrate, and pilocarpine for the administration as a meiotic drugs. And it belongs to a class of drugs known as the cholinergic agonists. And ophthalmic pilocarpine is used to treat glaucoma, a condition in which increased pressure on the eyes can lead to gradual loss of vision. Now, pilocarpine is in a class of medication called meiotics. As we said, meiosis is the process of constriction of the pupil, and meiotics is a pharmacochemical that causes the constriction of the pupil. It works by allowing excess fluid to drain from the eye, and when in use to treat xerostomia or radiation-induced xerostomia, the recommended dosage is about 5 to 10 milligram TID, that means 3 times daily. And the doses for xerostomia associated with the Sargent syndrome symptoms is 5 milligram 4 times per day, and the maximum effect occurs approximately 1 hour. That's 1 hour after administration, but may occur even earlier if food is taken with the pilocarpine. As usual, blurred vision from glaucoma drugs is caused primarily by the meiotics, which cause a constriction of the induced induced accommodation, which causes a sort of myopia or myopic effect of the pupil. And as we have our periodic table on the top here, what we have is we notice here that all the independent element or the elements used in this pharmacochemical synthesis is basically oxygen, which is in group 16 and period 2, oxygen and chlorine here, which is in group about 17 and period 1, 2, 3, and hydrogen, which is in group 1 and period 1, and basically those three elements, hydrogen, chlorine, oxygen, are the elements in the synthesis of this pilocarpine hydrochloride. Over here on the pilocarpine nitrate, we have an additional nitrogen, which is in 1, 2, 3, 4, that would be about group 14 and period 2. And in addition to what it has in the pilocarpine hydrochloride, which is the oxygen, the hydrogen, and as the other fundamental elements in the synthesis of this myotic drugs or cholinergic agonists. So these are now with extension. There's no further development on these pharmacochemicals since 1990 to 1996 during my specialized medical research via the SUNY Health Science Campus at Brooklyn, which was an integral of Brookdale Medical Center, Downstate Medical Center. Our SUNY Science Campus has 450 Clarkson Avenue, and it also includes Interfaith Hospital, Interfaith Medical Center, and Brooklyn Jewish Hospital. All those were integral into the SUNY Health Science Campus, which was 1991 to 1996 specialized research effort in medicine. So we have discussed now ophthalmic or sort of ophthalmology pharmacochemicals, in Visine being a brand and over-the-counter pharmacochemical, and pilocarpine hydrochloride, and pilocarpine nitrate as being a predominantly prescription type myotics, cholinergic agonist type of pharmacochemicals. And all these are in support now of our AMZ5x12MIPCA extension. And once again, we came upon the periodic table by the magnetization property of the AMZ5x12 matrix, abundance of oxygen, and we expand stochastically the nucleus matrix, which is the AMZ5x12 matrix, into a higher dimensional matrix, which is a 9x18 matrix, which is the periodic table, and here we have the periodic table. It's interesting that we can react elements with themselves in some of these elemental makeup of the periodic table, whereas we can also react these elements, individual elements, with other elements. Some of them will produce no reaction, while some will produce violent action, violent explosive reactions, and so forth, poisonous, toxics, and also some that are useful to medical abnormalities to help humans to bring about health. So we have a lot of combination and permutation of these elements in reaction with themselves and other elements, and that is courses beyond the scope right now. We are just focusing on and as we come to the bridge, we will cross the bridges in these other usage of the 116 elements making up the periodic table. As we have promised, we would have returned back to our hydrocortisone, which was this. And we leave the hydrocortisone for another presentation which will come up soon. So we'll take a break here and return.